right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got a champ in the building. This man is a pioneer of the sport, and not only is he a pioneer showing people how to do it, he went out on top. You cannot finish a career in a prettier way, and maybe we'll see if we can, convince him to come back, maybe one more match. But anyway, Ron, the Wolverine, is here. Let's give it up.
Thank you, bud.
Dude, finally we meet in person.
Yes, sir.
Dude, very cool. We were, I was wandering around Circa, and I was like, oh my gosh, in the flesh. The beard is real. The beard is real. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I got the call to come out here and corner for the blue side against the Crazy Hawaiian. So it's always fun to be out here in Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. When did you fly in?
I flew in last Thursday. They wanted me to try to help with some of the newer guys. So
okay. Yeah, I heard that Blackburn was doing a bit of that. Pono was doing a bit of that. I'm sure Crazy was there. Have they got you doing a lot of promo media for the? Is it different for a coach, all the media stuff?
Yeah, it's different. We don't have to do nowhere near as much media stuff. We just pretty much show up and, if the guys want to go to the gym, hit the pad, whatever they want to help with, we're there. I don't have to worry about no weight cutting, so I can eat anytime.
Dude, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it's a lot easier go around when you're cornering or coaching, rather than competing.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. We were talking to Lane, and I asked him a similar question, and he was like, I get to actually see my family. The busyness does dial down a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Dude, how's it been? You went out on top. They're still involving you a little bit, which makes sense, but do you feel relieved? Do you feel like
I feel relieved. I mean, not relieved I don't know. I mean, I enjoy.
Maybe that's not the best way, but you know what I mean? You just feel okay.
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, I enjoy the sports. I want to be around it, whether it be cornering or, anything like that. But I like being here around it. So, but I got to, come out with a big knockout and then got to say I was going out on top. So, I mean, and I got to keep that 205 record from Power Slap and from Slap Fight Championship. At 14-0, so I mean, I'm pretty happy with that.
Unbelievable, man. Forgive me, I honestly don't know. Are you the only undefeated athlete?
Well, I mean, I've lost in heavyweight division.
In the other league.
Oh, in the other league, no. Actually, the only one that I know of that hasn't lost in Slap Fight Championship was Darius, the Destroyer.
The Destroyer, yeah.
And he lost to me at Power Slap 1. But as far as
I don't think there is one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's crazy. That should tell everybody what the sport is.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna get your turn probably eventually.
Oh yeah, this is not a sport where you can have somebody like Tyson in the 90s where he just pure dominates everybody. I mean, you're gonna have one where you're unlucky in a matchup. So
yeah, it's an interesting sport that way. We were talking earlier about it's what everyone wants to see in the UFC, but it's directly to that. Everyone loves a knockout. Everyone loves all that, the highlight reel. That's why you're watching. You want to see some fireworks, right? And Slap just, the potential's 99% there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because most of the time UFC, I mean, granted, I know wrestling plays a big part in that, but I don't really care about watching that. I'm somebody that, I like Chuck Liddell. I like watching the big knockouts.
Iceman, what's up?
So, I mean, to come over and watch, Slap Fight Championship and then now Power Slap, it's, it's just knockouts just waiting to happen.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's funny. So my first MMA match I watched was Couture Liddell 3.
Oh, yeah?
And so the first time I saw, Iceman do it, I swear I felt something inside me that was like, I like this. This is cool.
Yeah, whenever I was doing MMA, that's all I always wanted to be, because I love stand-up. I hated wrestling, so I always just, wanted to go for a knockout standing up. And so when I came over to Power Slap, it was a good fit for me.
Yeah, perfect fit. Yeah, dude, that wrestling's no joke.
No.
That's work. That's not fun.
Yeah, I ain't got the cardio for that. Usually if I got out of the first round, that match was over.
Dude, so way back in the day, I was training MMA, right? Just at a small local gym in Utah. and I had always done basketball my whole life, and then I think is it? Oh, I thought you put it behind you. But then when I was like 22, 23, I discovered like bodybuilding. So I got into that, and then I got into strongman, and actually ended up breaking my back in strongman, towing the shit out of this thing, and then picking up this I-beam, right? And so I was, not depressed or whatever, but I was just like, well, now what? Like, cause I love doing that, And then I saw that match, and I was like, oh shit, I think I found my new thing. So I go to this local MMA gym. It was actually ran by Sean O'Connell.
Oh
If
yeah.
you know him, yeah.
Yep.
And they had us do 1 minute, like it was wrestling, but they grappling rounds or whatever. And I swear to you, I was so tired after 60 seconds. It was a massive eye opener. Like, oh, these guys are tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't go to the gym very often, to a gym, but when I did, and yeah, I mean, I could tell that I was just completely just, not as tough as I thought I was,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, everyone that talks shit about, I mean, I guess you could fill in the blank with any sport, but when you're watching fights or even slap, like slap especially, because everyone is so cocky about slap, like, oh, I could do that, I could do that. It's like, oh, really? They'll take you, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, but I always just look at them and go, they don't know. They don't know.
No, and I get that quite a bit too. I mean, what is it? Just two guys going up there and slap? No, I mean, there's more to it than that. I mean, you gotta, there's mechanics that go involved into it and stuff like that. I mean, it's not as broke down as like MMA where you got to know different type of fighting backgrounds and stuff, but there's still mechanics that are involved into it. So it's not just two dudes just going up there and slapping the piss out of each other.
No. That's what my man Levi says, slapping the piss out of each other. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I just talked to Blackman about this. I think in the beginning it was for sure like that, and the company, the machine, if you will, Dana, Erica, for all those guys, they were cool with it because it's got to start somewhere. But man, in a short amount of time, you and a whole bunch of others are like the ones that know it's a real thing are just weeding out that whole train of people that think it's just two guys smacking, man.
Oh yeah, and well, and then you're trying to weed out the people that don't care about the rules and that are just trying to hurt, somebody. I mean, rather than actually treat this as a competition. I mean, because you sit there and you're trying to hurt somebody that's defenseless already. Then I mean, you're gonna get this shut down or something or another. Because I'm sure one big thing that happens. I mean, they're gonna probably question it. I mean, especially since you already have a lot of doctors and everybody already questioning it. So, I mean, yeah, as far as getting the people that ain't trying to actually do it the right way and everything out of the way, I think it makes it be able to grow more.
Yeah, I think that's one of the last remaining pieces to show people, no, you might think it's a ridiculous sideshow, cool, but once we weed out those others, they'll be able to see it really is a sport, right?
Right.
Like people that go in and just want to do it, like it's called power slap. It's not called power neck crank. You know what I mean? Like this is,
Yeah.
you're aware of what's bad. And so to get the people that aren't treating it serious is amazing for the sport because it's going to be that much more direct and not, because like you said, you're just out there defenseless, and but there's still a technique to it. And the people that don't understand that, they got to go.
Right.
They got to go.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, your defense is already. So if you actually do a slap, and most of the time, I'm not all the time, but most of the time, I mean, you're going to be able to stand there and be able to take it. You're not going to get a knockout right away. There's a few matches, where you'll get a knockout right away, but for the most part, if you hit somebody with a normal slap, I mean, you're going to see a good match, back and forth blows, which is something I want to watch anyway. I don't want to watch a round one knockout every time. I mean, I want to see the back and forth. I want to see like Isaiah and Bordeaux's last matchup where they were both bloody. I want to see that matchup.
Banger.
So
DeBell and Dorian.
DeBell and Dorian.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I want to see those back and
Anthony and Munoz, those dudes.
forth. Yeah.
Both
Oh,
their
yeah.
matches, crazy. Yeah, and you don't want to see it. You don't want to see a one and done from a foul. Like that's
Right.
no fun, because then it's kind of like, well, I won, but you know what I mean. And so I agree with that, man. I agree with that.
No, Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still love to see the knockouts.
Sure,
but
sure,
as long as
but
it's done the right way, as
that's
somebody,
what we're going for.
if you know the rules and, we say you can't step and you could clearly see a big old pivot. Well, you just threw a right hook at somebody who ain't moving. I mean, of course you're going to knock them out. I mean,
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it's good. I can't remember. It might have been Slap News, but there was a post where they had a quote. I think it was Slap News. It wasn't Petty Corner. They had a quote from one of the refs just talking about how literally the step and all that. And my comment to it was, well, at least this guy's talking. Because like the last few months, there's been a lot of chatter about the rules. And it's good to have that because then you can improve upon it quicker.
right. Yes, sir.
Dude, so you have any plans after the match this weekend? I mean, you are in Vegas.
Yeah, my wife's actually flying up here Friday.
Very cool.
So we're gonna spend the weekend, hanging out. We'll fly back Monday. So.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, my family gets here late tomorrow night.
Oh yeah.
So wifey and 2 kids will show up. My oldest kid is 18, senior in high school. He's fine. He doesn't, we don't need to bother him. You know what I mean?
We wanted to bring the kids out. I think we're going to maybe try to maybe sometime during the summer. We were wanting to bring them out this time, but with the other parents and it being their weekends and not wanting to let them go. So we're so we're shooting
kind of
on.
You guys a blended family then?
Yeah,
Hey man, I know what you mean.
Yeah, we got 5 of them, so we have to deal with 2 different.
Damn, you got 5 kids?
Yeah.
And did she bring any into the relationship?
Yeah, she brought 2 and I brought 3, and so we got to work with 2 other parents, and one of them's pretty easy to work with. The other one's
there's always one.
Yeah.
But it's good that you can still. I mean, dude, there's so many people that can't even interact in that situation. It's very cool that you can interact and maybe plan a trip next time out to an event or something.
Well, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just try to hopefully just plan on our weekend, so that way the kids can come, because we offered them 1 vacation a year, and we offered them like Disney stuff like that, but they all wanted to go to Vegas. So
Dude, I love it. I love it, man. And Vegas is so much better now than it used to be. Meaning, there's shows and like all that kind of stuff. Dude, back in the day, it was like if you weren't gambling, that's it.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you allow on the show, but as far as first time I flew out here,
Strip clubs.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was gambling and strippers. I mean, but I got here and there's actually shows, stuff to go do. It's actually, it's a fun
good,
place.
right?
Yeah,
like that's still there.
Yeah,
but there's options now.
Yeah,
which I think is cool.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I like the fact that I don't have to come for that stuff because I'm not here for that. I like to watch the shows and everything else.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. I'm similar that way. My wife and I let loose once a year, which is kind of fun. We'll go out and do those things, and it's a good time. But Vegas is like becoming what Broadway is for New York, but like for bands and music.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I do too. Yeah, there's constantly music going on, and there's constantly shows going on here that, hell, we've thought about flying in a couple of times just because it's easy flight, and we'll look up, see who's going to be here and when, just instead of back home. So
yeah, I mean, you might have a similar experience where it's like in Utah, people come through, but not like a lot. That's been changing a little bit in the last years. This guy that bought the Utah Jazz and the baseball team and all that, he's younger, so he's bringing in a lot more acts. But growing up, you had to go to Las Vegas to see the people you wanted. And so now that they have like residencies, because the bands that I like now, because I'm older, they're older, they get these residencies. It's so cool because you can do what you said, just fly in on Friday, see the band, go back home. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, Rob, very cool to like meet you and like see you. And I have to ask because I have to. Is there any way we just kind of like pull you back in for one more match?
Yeah, I've talked to Erica and Frank. I mean, if it's right, I may come back. But
okay,
yeah.
Okay, if it's right.
If it's right.
Hey, I think that's fair, people. I think that's fair. If it's right, So, yeah, if you want to, shout out your social media where people can find you. And
man, I don't even know how to do all that. So I know I made an Instagram because I know I talked with yourself, and a lot of people don't communicate on.
You know what's crazy though? This guy, he doesn't do the social media thing. He just lets you know he's the champ, and then he goes back into the back end. But It's crazy. You actually have a pretty big following. I think like 11,000 people follow you on Instagram.
Oh, see, okay, so that Instagram was actually made from JT Tilley from Slap Fight Championship.
Okay.
And then somehow or another, he said he got locked out of it. So I went back in and made one, especially after, yourself messaged me and said, you weren't really on Messenger too much.
Yeah.
So as far as how to get a hold of me.
What do we got? Okay, people, listen up. Wolverine.slap on Instagram. Follow the journey, especially now. If the thing's right, we might see him return, which is fantastic. But to get to know the history of the game, to get to know where it's been and where it's going, perfect guy to follow along with and see his matches and get educated on the sport. So Wolverine.slap on Instagram. Dude, Ron, thank you so much, man.
Hey, thank you, bud.